Greetings YouTube, JC, Bad Edit Pro with a video about audio. We're going to take a look at the latest LP scores. Haven't done one of these since October the 10th, and believe it or not, I've had lots of folks who have written me and said, hey man, show us your new records. So I didn't expect a whole lot of people to be interested in my record collection, but if you guys want to see it, here it goes. Haven't picked up a whole lot, going through the holidays. I just hadn't had a chance to snoop around for new records. But I got a few to show you here, so we'll go ahead and do the video anyway. And yes, I am using the crappy Pentax camera, and the picture's a little bit grainy, and the audio's not as good as the other camera. But this one's nice because it allows me to hold the album out and hold the camera and take a picture at the same time, so it actually comes out better. So here we go. From 1971, this is Paul and Linda McCartney's Ram album, which was Paul McCartney's second solo album. Third solo album. And this is one of my very favorite records of all time. And I've had this album in every commercial format that you can think of. I've had this as an 8-track, a cassette. I do have a CD that I picked up around 1995, and this is the third LP that I've owned of this record. As a matter of fact, I started looking for this record immediately after getting a turntable, and it took me this long to find a nice, clean copy. And this is an original Apple pressing from '71, and it sounds great. Much better than the CD, as a matter of fact. From 1974, this is Cal Smith, Country Bumpkin. The title track on this was a #1 country hit that year, and this is a great memory from my youth. I used to hear Cal Smith sing all the time, and been looking for an LP of this album for a long, long time. I've had it on cassette for years. MCA, for reasons unknown, has decided that they're not going to release this on CD, or if they have, I can't find it anywhere. So as far as I know, if you want the album, you have to get the LP. The song Country Bumpkin's available on a lot of these, country 50 #1 hits collections. But if you want the whole record, this is it. And I'm sure most of you have never heard of Cal Smith before, but there you go. And if you have, leave a comment, because we obviously have some things to talk about. Okay, Chicago Greatest Hits, Volume 2. This came out about 1979. This is a great record, and the album cover is one of my favorites, with all the pictures of the Chicago sign. This album has If You Leave Me Now, No Tell Lover, which is one of my favorite Chicago songs, Dialogues Part 1 and 2, Question 67, 68, great stuff on here. Chicago's Greatest Hits, Volume 1. This came out about 1975 or 76, and this is a replacement of a copy that I already had. I already had a copy of this record, but the version that I had was in really bad shape, so I got one that was a little bit cleaner, and the old one's going to go in the trash because it's really scratched up. I wouldn't even give it away to somebody. Picked it up for about $2 somewhere, and you never know what you're going to get. So I wanted a clean copy of this, so I got it. From 1976, Al Jarreau and an album called Glow. And if you don't know who Al Jarreau is, he's a great jazz singer, and the album is full of great session players. This had a mild hit off on it in the United States, a song called Rainbow in Your Eyes, which made it into the charts, but only up in the 20s. That's not the best song on the record. The best song on the record is his version of Al Jarreau, James Taylor's Fire and Rain. This is Al Jarreau's very first record, and of course it has a lot of great Los Angeles jazz studio players on it. Tom Canning is on this record, Joe Sample is on this record, Larry Carlton plays on this record, and if you know who those people are, then you are a real jazz fan. And Willie Weeks is the bass man. From 1982, it is Al Jarreau's album Jarreau, and this one was his really big breakthrough commercial album, I think. And a lot of the jazz people said, Al, he's gone all commercial on us, man. But I don't, I love this record. It's one of my very favorite, and I don't blame anybody for, actually getting some success. This album had a hit on it called Morning. The other hit off of it was Trouble in Paradise, and also Boogie Down was a slight hit from this record. Great record, and an all-star cast of studio musicians on this. Can't even go through the names. So many people. And I wanted to show you this. Some of these albums you've already seen, but I finally finished up my collection of the Billy Joel albums when he was working with Phil Ramone as a producer, and I think these are some of the greatest albums ever recorded. They did 7 albums together, and I have finally managed to get all 7 of them on vinyl. I already have these on CD somewhere, but I wanted to get the records. Of course, in some cases, they sound a lot better than the CDs. Here's The Stranger from 1977. That was the first time that Phil Ramone and Billy Joel paired up, and this is a huge hit album. 52nd Street from 1978, and this sounds much better than the CD. We've actually talked about this album and the fact that this was the first album ever to be released on CD. If you have a copy of it, look very closely. There's a number somewhere, and it's a DIDX number, and that's what it says, DIDX. This will be number 1. So this is the first album released in the CD catalog, but the LP sounds much, much better. Moving on in time, we get to 1980, and it's Glass Houses, Billy Joel. I just got this album. Great record with lots of hits on it. It's Still Rock and Roll to Me is probably the biggest one that came from this record. From 1981, Songs in the Attic, which is a live album. We've talked about this before, of recordings. He recorded a bunch of songs live that he had actually recorded before The Stranger came out, and did them live and put them out as an album. So this isn't like the quintessential Billy Joel live album. That came later. He did one of those in the 80s. But anyhow, great record there. Billy Joel, The Nylon Curtain, probably my favorite Billy Joel album from 1982, and we've talked about that one before. An Innocent Man from 1983, featuring, some of his biggest hits, Tell Her About It, Uptown Girl is on here, many, many others. And then we move on to 1986. This is The Bridge, which in interviews I've heard Billy say it's not one of his favorite records, but he did some pretty interesting stuff musically on this album, and it's one of my favorites. So there you have all 7 of the Billy Joel albums produced by Phil Ramone on vinyl in my hand. I'm such a happy boy. So anyway, thanks for watching the vid. As I get some more records, I'll post some more of these videos. I can't believe people actually want to see my record collection, but there you go. JC, Bad Edit Pro, waving bye-bye.